Welcome to the Moving to Florida show. I am your host, Judson, along with my co-host here, Mohit Badlani. And today we got some tips for you, something to look out if you've spent any amount of time in Florida. I don't know if scam is the right word. Mo's going to fill us in here.
It's not a scam.
Not a scam. But we're just looking out for you guys. We want to make sure we save, make sure you're saving money and possibly your precious time here.
Yes.
But before we get into that, just a couple of quick notes for you guys. You might have noticed recently that you may or may not have heard an advertisement on the show. We're trying to work with sponsors a little bit, work on helping, cover the costs of the show, because it does actually cost money aside from our time and effort to produce the show. So if you did hear that ad, we kind of want to hear your feedback, want to know what you thought, if it was implemented well, all of that, because it's something new that we're just kind of toying with, and we may be doing that again in the future. So do bear with us as we figure that out. Also, Mo and I had a great meeting today where we worked on planning how we're going to continue growing the podcast. So as always, we want to hear from you guys. Moving to Florida show at gmail.com. When we do the wrap up here at the end of the show, you'll hear all of the ways you can contact us, but probably email is going to be the easiest, or reach out to us on social media, of course. And last thing before we get started is we do have a couple of great guests coming up in the next few weeks. So yep. We'll give you a little more details on that here at the end of the show. So with that, Mo, you say it's not a scam, huh?
It's not really a scam. No, it's not a scam at all. I don't think so. But the people who are selling these tickets, well, if you notice, like when you drive into Florida, what we're talking about basically, when you drive into Florida or fly into Florida or anywhere on International Drive or US 192,
it's all over Central Florida.
It's all over Central Florida. You'll see these people that sell discounted tickets, so cheaper tickets than buying them at the gate. Now,
discounted theme park tickets.
Yeah, discounted theme park tickets, whether it's Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, any other theme parks that we have down here that have almost $100, $120 to get in per day. That's the average ticket cost is like $110 right now.
Right.
It might be different for other parks, but not about an average of $110 now. And you see these signs, $50 for Disney tickets for one day, one park. Now, how do they do that? Well, basically, they are OPCs. Now, OPC is an off-property consultant. Off-property consultants, what they do is with these big marketing billboards and whatnot, they grab your attention, and when you come visit them in their office and say, hey, how do I get these tickets for $50 instead of paying $100 and something? Well, they'll tell you, hey, it's a 90-minute tour of one of their resorts, which would be like a timeshare resort. And once you're done with your 90-minute tour, whether you buy a timeshare or not, you will still get those tickets at a discounted rate. Now, you may spend more than 90 minutes there, but you have to spend a minimum of 90 minutes listening to a sales pitch of a gentleman trying to sell you a timeshare. Disney does timeshare too. It's called DVC. So Disney is big on the timeshare scene too. Yeah. And not saying that a timeshare is something you need to invest in or something you don't need to invest in. You have to take a tour or visit one of the timeshares and see if it's beneficial for you and your family. If you do vacation a lot, if you don't vacation a lot, it all depends on that. But yeah, going back to the tickets, yeah, I used to give out, I used to be an OPC before. I had a store here on 192, and I was an OPC broker. The difference between an OPC and OPC broker is the OPC works directly with the timeshare company, and they have a booth or a building that they use. Now, for me, I owned my building. I owned the store itself. So for me to put a booth in there, they made me a broker, so they don't have to pay rent to anybody or anything like that. So the full profit comes to me. Now, these OPCs make money off of it. So let's say they're allocated a certain amount of dollars. They use their own dollars to basically give the discount to the residents. So, for example, let's say 1, 2, 3 timeshare. is sponsoring this OPC and that you're going on this tour. And once you do that tour and that 90 minutes is done, that's when you go to the gifting center and collect your tickets and pay for them.
Gotcha. So basically, in order to get the discounted tickets, you have to sit through a 90-minute timeshare presentation.
A 90 minutes timeshare presentation. A lot of people know about this in the sense of a lot of people who've been on vacation and been on vacation often here. They know about the whole timeshare.
They've fallen into the trap before.
They've either fallen into the trap or spoken to somebody and say, "Hey, man, I just dropped like $4,000 on tickets. How am I supposed to get these tickets for half the cost?"
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how this topic came up. It had crossed my mind before, especially when I'm, traveling into or out of the state, and you're coming down I-10 or down I-75, and there's just huge billboards, and it's, welcome center. There's one that's got like a 13-foot live alligator on site, feed baby alligators. Like, there are all these things to draw you in, free fresh squeezed orange juice, just things to get you to stop, check it out. It's a Florida Welcome Center. And then they're advertising discounted tickets. And I wanted to do a show on this, but I honestly didn't know. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the catch was. I was like, surely it's not a scam, right? Because they wouldn't be able to have billboards up and all of that. But I just didn't know. And then recently I had family in visiting. My folks are from Louisiana, and they were visiting. And we actually did a little, tourist activity while we were here. We went down to 192 and played some mini golf.
Oh, nice.
And we were at this, mini golf place, and they had one of those booths out there, and it was like discounted tickets, $39, Universal, Disney. Right. Like that's what they were advertising. And I just mentioned it to my parents, and my mom was like, "Oh no, don't do that." And they were like, they knew exactly what it was. They were like, apparently when I was a kid, we came down, or maybe it was even before I was born, because they had my older sister. They said she was 6, and they were like, we had to sit in this timeshare presentation all day long. And like, it wasted a whole day of our vacation. And those people are well trained. They were like super pushy and all of this.
High pressure sales.
Okay. Yeah. I get it now. Yeah. I mean, you get the discounted tickets. So you do get the tickets for the price that they're saying. Right. But, you also buy $18,000 timeshare before it's over.
Now, we used to get a bonus anytime one of our guests that we've sent over to the timeshare would buy a timeshare, so we would get a bonus from that. So it was at one point a very, very lucrative business. You would see a lot more than what you see now. There would be one in almost every block of 192, every store, almost every gift shop or restaurant, Perkins, Denny's, all had those gift booths over there, or the ticket booths over there. Yeah,
so, and the timeshare thing, I don't know if it's seen its heyday. It's still a big thing. I mean, they're still building new timeshare, buildings here. And I think a timeshare, when it comes down to it, I mean, we've never really discussed that on the show. Some people love them, some people hate them. Right. I think it's one of those things that if it's a fit for you, if it fits what you want to do, then it could be great. We know my wife has people in her family that have a timeshare somewhere down South Florida, I think, somewhere on the beach here in Florida. And they go every year and they love it. Like, they've had it for 20 plus years and they're very happy with it. Yeah. But then there's other people that see it and they're just like, I don't get it.
I don't see the benefit in it.
Right. So Mo, is timeshare, I know you were an OPC broker, you said, so you had some experience there. Do you have any experience with timeshare, just for the people that are kind of confused right now if they don't know what it is? Can you explain that concept any?
I mean, a little bit. I didn't go deep into what the timeshare was, because I worked for a certain company that did it by the amount of time you stay there. So you could buy a week or 2 weeks at a certain particular resort. And you own that 2 weeks for the rest of your life. You could transfer it over and switch the dates and whatnot, but I mean, it might cost you to do that, but I'm not 100% sure how much that would be. But if you said, I want the first 2 weeks of July every year in Orlando, those first 2 weeks of July, a 2-bedroom timeshare that you purchased, you will always receive that 2-bedroom timeshare, or it's like a condo, so it has a full kitchen in it. It has
Right.
all the amenities, pool, everything. It's just like staying in a resort, a full on resort, in the sense of like you would have your own kitchen in your timeshare, in your condo. You would have the refrigerator. You would have all that stuff. So a lot of folks would take advantage of that. It's like staying in an extended stay down here.
Yeah, just a nice resort condo. Yeah, I think that's
Exactly.
I think that's the general idea, and I'm sure every company's different. It varies from place to place, but yeah, that's the general idea. Like I said, it's not something I'm super experienced with, but
Right.
that's kind of how I understand it too.
Right, and some people buy points too, so they use a point system as well versus a week system. So like if you want to buy a week or 2 weeks, you could do that, or you can allocate a certain amount of points, which will give you a certain amount of days to stay at a resort. So those points can be transferred over to certain different resorts. So you don't have to stay in Orlando. You can go anywhere that resort has a partnership with another resort, or they actually have their own resort in that city, country, wherever. I know Vegas is huge on timeshare too. Vegas and Miami and Orlando are probably one of the top 3 biggest places for timeshare.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. You have been warned. When you see those big yellow signs that say discounted at theme park tickets, $39. $39 is what it was. The ones that I saw that kind of spurred this episode.
Right.
Got me started talking about it and made this happen.
Right.
Yeah, you can get the tickets, but
you're going to have to give up your time.
Spend a little bit of your time.
Yeah. Now, I do have a word of advice. If you are going to do a timeshare tour and you have no intentions of purchasing one, just keep a straight face, say no, continue saying no, keep an eye on your watch. Once your 90 minutes are over, you tell the gentleman nicely, "Sir, my 90 minutes are up. Thank you so much. And can I have my tickets, please?"
So do they tell you that on the upfront you have to stay at least 90 minutes? Is that like you sign something, or how does that work?
You sign a sheet before you once we do the reservation for you. Once you meet OPC, the OPC says, "Okay, these are the tickets you're going to get." We put that on a sheet of paper too. It's a form basically, and in that form it tells in the small print also says you must stay a minimum of 90 minutes during the tour. If you go 89 minutes, they have every right to say, "Sorry, you can't get your tickets."
So, hey, Mr. Timeshare salesman, all right, I am starting the clock.
Basically.
No, sir, it has been 90 minutes now.
Yeah. Not saying anything bad about the timeshare salespeople. I mean, they're making a living. They're trying to make a living just like the rest of us are, and this is what they do for a living. It is, like I said, it is high pressure sales. Some are not so much high pressure. It depends on the resort you go to. Some are. I know DVC was not. Makes sense. Yeah, Disney was not high pressure at all. They're like, take it if you like it. If you like what you hear, great, keep it, buy it. Don't want to buy it, go ahead. You can go on your merry way.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, there you go, folks. You have been warned. Anything else on that topic, Mo, before we wrap it up?
No, sir. That's about it. That's it.
Okay. Well, hey, I kind of hinted at this at the top of the show. We do have some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. So I wanted to mention that. Yeah, real quick. Next week, hopefully we'll get the episode recorded in time to get it out for you next week. If not, we do have other content as well. But we've got a teacher that's been teaching for a long, long time in Florida coming on to tell us kind of about the education system in Florida and everything that is involved there. She said next week would be a great week too, because they start back to school next week, and she calls all of her parents the night before they start to kind of talk through, the start process and all of that. And she's noticed over the last few years, a lot of people moving in from different areas. So I think it'll be interesting to get that perspective as well, where she is seeing, people come in from as well. And then following that, in the next couple of weeks, we also have a gentleman on he's an attorney in both New York and Florida. And he actually wrote the book on estate planning for snowbirds. So if you're a
cool.
snowbird, and maybe we need to define that for you guys, you have to go back to one of our early episodes. But if you're a snowbird planning on buying a winter home, a second home in Florida, and you want to make sure you get your titling and everything like that right, be sure to look out for that episode. Mo and I also had a great kind of planning meeting this morning. We sat down for a few hours and really talked about the future of the show, what we want to improve, what we want to do to provide value for you guys. And so we are excited about everything we have in the works there. So be sure to keep listening in. We value your feedback. We definitely appreciate that. We would definitely also appreciate it if you could go leave us a quick rating and review on Apple iTunes, preferably. We did look at our stats this morning, Mo. What was it, 92%? I think 92% of our listeners are on Apple Podcasts. So, I mean, that is definitely the vast majority. Of course, there's other things out there, Spotify and TuneIn Radio and other things.
Right.
But definitely Apple is the number one. So if you can pull the show up on Apple iTunes, and you got to scroll kind of past the episodes down to the bottom, there'll be a place where you can leave us a rating. Hopefully it is 5 stars. And if you leave a little review as well, just tell us, let the other listeners know, or prospective listeners, that you've gained some value from the show. We would greatly appreciate that from you guys. And awesome. Last thing is, I mentioned the ads. Hopefully they're short. Hopefully they're not too intrusive. We're still, again, figuring that out. It's something that gets kind of automated and pushed into the show. We do have some control, but it's something that we're figuring out. So again, we do want to hear your feedback on that. Best way is at Moving to Florida Show, or movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. And I know I said last thing, but one last thing. If you guys are listening to the show and you already live in Florida, or you're planning to move to Florida, and you think you could provide value to our listeners, we also want to hear from you. So, if you want to come on the show and actually provide value, then, also reach out to us. So with that, we'll wrap it up. I'll let Mo tell you where to reach us.
All right. We want to hear from you guys. You can reach us on our Moving to Florida show hotline by dropping a voicemail or texting us at 407-900-5859, or drop us a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Moving to Florida Show. And for Twitter, our handle is at Moving to FL Show. If you'd like to connect with us, if you have any questions, or if you need a realtor here in Florida, you can reach us at movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to the show if you like our content, so that it would automatically download to your device and get you one step closer to moving to Florida.